I feel like I need to put like just a warning at the beginning of this episode. Just be like, Rebecca, just right off the top, did not enjoy this film. So if you are feeling really happy and you don't want to feel down, do not listen to this right now. Welcome, friends. This week we are going to be doing my pick, which is Tootsie. The screenplay was written by Larry Gelbart. John, how did you feel about this 1980s script?
I wonder why you emphasized the 1980s. I felt that it was a very, very well written script, a very well written story. I do feel I want to draw a line. I didn't feel that there were problematic things necessarily, but I felt that there was no justification for some things. Can I come out right now and say it, I guess, right here, or should I wait?
Sure, yeah, go for it.
I just found I had no problem with them doing the drag, but like that's what the whole movie is about. But I don't think that there was any justification for why he was doing it. Like he wasn't transgendered in any way. It didn't seem like he needed to do the drag to prove a point. He wasn't trying to prove a point about women's role in society or in the acting industry. Maybe they did get to that point, but he wasn't trying to do that. I don't think the screenplay was necessarily trying to do that either. I just don't see why he couldn't have, like, he had the skills. He couldn't have dressed up and pretended to be a man of a certain sort, right? Like, I don't know why he dressed in drag.
Okay.
Am I off base on that?
No, like, I guess I'm trying to understand what you're saying. Like for me, he just did it because he knew that he could get that role. He knew how to act that role perfectly. And so he was I'm going to do it. And he'd been out of work for so long and his agent wasn't representing him anymore. And so he was like, fuck it. I'm just going to go for this because it's all I have left. And if it works, then fuck yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, I guess he could have tried to be like put on a masculine character and be like, I'm the guy who books every part I audition for and see what that guy like dresses like or looks like and change his appearance in that way. But it would have just been a movie about a guy buying a different shirt.
Yeah, exactly. And so in this case, I feel like it's just a movie about a guy buying different clothes, like dressing up, and like I don't know if I got the powerful message that should be behind this. Like, for instance, in Mrs. Doubtfire, he dresses up as the nanny to be with his family. Like he literally needs to do this. In this, he dresses up in drag just to do a role, just because I want to make money. I wish there was some justification behind it.
Oh, well, that is the justification. You just want like a nobler one.
Yes, exactly.
You want there to be like heart.
Exactly. Heart. And so I guess I don't like Michael as a character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I very much don't like Michael as a character. But my just like overall thoughts about the script was, like I'm trying to do it in two parts. So yes, like it's a well-structured written script, but like the story I despise and I hate Michael and I find so much of it problematic. So in general, I did not enjoy this read and I just wrote, like, I've never sworn so much in my notes and just been like fucking gross. Yeah. And I tried to stay objective and just be like, it's okay, like just ignore the fact that it's so dated, which is probably why I said 1980s at the beginning, just to remind myself like this was a very long time ago, 40 years ago. Things have changed a little bit, but yeah, I just couldn't get away from it. Every time I was like, okay, I've got this, they'd just like slap you in the face with another like awful judgment on women.
I think I don't remember this other film as well either, so I don't want to say that it would be in the same category. But while I was comparing this film to Mrs. Doubtfire, I think this film reminds me more of another 90s movie. I think it was maybe early 2000s.
Say What Woman What?
That's it, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's totally much more Mel Gibson than he is Robin Williams, for sure. Gross.
Yeah, and he uses his yeah, fair enough. Yeah, later on, Michael goes on to direct a movie about Jesus and then starts swearing at the Jews. Oh my my goodness, he has a complete breakdown. That's Tootsie Part 2. Oh man. Well, somehow he still has a career, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in What Women Want, he uses his mind abilities to manipulate women and to get to know what they want, and
Yeah.
and I think
He's
Michael's
telepathic, is he?
yeah, exactly. And so Michael, in a similar vein, at least at some point in the film, in the script, he uses what he learns from people to try to manipulate them.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
this movie is just coming back to me. I know this is a little tangent, or sidebar, but doesn't he like put on like nail polish and makeup and like tights, and then he falls into a bathtub and like accidentally electrocutes himself and then wakes up telepathic?
That's it.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Movie gold.
And of course
Hilarity
he falls in love.
and love ensues.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. As it does in this film.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Which is awful.
Yeah. I don't. It's one of
Um,
those things where you get to the end and they have that love story and you're like, really would like their entire relationship has been just all lies and him manipulating her. But okay. Yeah, I
yeah.
guess this is the guy that she wants now.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, we dove a little bit into character. You said that you didn't like Michael's character. Was it specifically for his manipulating his surroundings and just for like selfish reasons?
I think he's just generally shown as being a bad guy. Like he's too into his work, and I guess you can be really into your work, but he seems like a snob, and maybe some people would say that like that's noble in a way, but I mean, he just seems like an ass about it sometimes, and he does not treat Sandy well at all, even though he keeps promising that he loves her, I think.
Yeah, like that relationship in general is just so wild. Like she is somebody who is like, very depressed and blames herself for everything, and he takes advantage of that so hard. I don't understand why. Like, what is the reason for this B story in Tootsie at all? Like, why do we need to see that he treats two separate women awful? Like, he manipulates two different women, and there's no redeeming qualities in the Sandy story. He doesn't learn a lesson in that one. It's like she has a little bit of growth.
Yeah, she's always apologetic for everything, for his lies that he comes up with. And then I think when she finally figures it out, she's like, whatever.
She's like, I'm never going to be your friend, but I'm still going to do this play that you are going to put on and that we are going to star together in.
Yeah. So you win everything, Michael.
Yeah. You exactly. You win everything. You get off scot-free. Like, I'm not going to hate you. I'm going to work with you, but I'm just going to be here. We're just not going to, you're not going to have to feel guilty about standing me up anymore. Essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, that's such a gift. Like, fuck Michael.
Yeah.
I just didn't understand. I didn't understand the attraction. And that relationship mirrored the one that the main love interest, whose name I forget right now. What's her name?
Julie?
Julie was having with Ron.
Yep, for sure.
Too. So.
Yeah. And like Michael is watching that relationship as Dorothy. He's watching that relationship and he's judging that relationship, and then he's doing the exact same thing to Sandy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, okay, so that could be the reason that story is there, to be like pot kettle. But then there's no redemption for Sandy, really. And there needs to be for that to be like closed better, I think. Like I feel like Michael has to lose something for doing that and not just learn that he shouldn't do that anymore. He needs to know the consequences of doing that.
Yeah. In the end, Michael ends up with the relationship he wants. Yeah. No one being mad at him and him having a lot of acting opportunities.
Yeah. Everything comes up Michael.
Michael's initial issue as an actor was that he was too hard to work with, right?
Yes.
And then he puts on drag, and then at first he seems like he's more malleable to what people want in this new role as Dorothy. But then he quickly, and I thought originally like, oh, okay, so are you trying to make a point that women give in to things more or something, and you need to be able to work with people. And that's the point of doing drag. I don't know. And then no, he turns Dorothy into the exact same kind of person where she is like just doing whatever she wants, and she thinks that the role should be a certain way, which is, she's right. She should be more powerful, and she should she was manipulating the role and everything, but it's like it's saying nothing. It's like there was no difference.
I mean, is it saying nothing, or is it saying that is that like an anti-feminist story or message where it's like women can get away more on set than a man can, Like he got blacklisted for doing the same thing dressed as a man, but now that he's a woman, people are like, yeah, oh, she's bringing so much to this role, even though it's like fucking up our tapes and we're having to retape over and over. I feel like the movie is packaged as like, oh, like here's this feminist story, and then the whole time it's just like, women suck, they're the worst, this is why. The whole time. There's like one part where Dorothy, it's like, okay, it's 28 pages in. Dorothy has just come into existence. So Michael has just started dressing as a woman, and he's talking to Ron about the take that she just did and her performance in it. And he's like objecting to what she did. And he's like, you need to do it this way. And he's like, you want a caricature of a woman to prove some idiotic point, like power makes women masculine, or masculine women are ugly. Well, shame on you that the woman who lets you do it, or any woman who lets you do it. And I'm like, okay, so 28 pages into this 155-page script, it's like half an hour into this movie, you've been dressed as a woman for a second, and you've already learned this huge lesson, and you're able to like preach about women, and you're able to defend women and essentially like be a woman, stand up for women better than a woman can in that situation. I was like, come on. Because in that part, she was also defending the way Ron was talking to another girl. I'm like, ugh, all this time this woman can defend herself. And there you are, just swooping in, being a woman, and doing it better than a woman can.
Yeah, it reminds me of, I'm not sure if it's what don't they say it's either about a sociopath or a psychopath where they can't really empathize, but they can seem like they empathize a lot, like they can really get into the minds of other people, and so they can pretend like they empathize.
Yeah.
I think that's what Michael can do, and so he can manipulate everyone.
Totally.
Yeah. So he's one of those.
He's just a sociopath, I think, is the one we're looking for.
I think so too. Yeah, I think you're right. Oh man. And like just talking about women some more, but like as soon as he turns into Dorothy, there's just so many jokes about how ugly Dorothy is. It's just like it's like one after another. I'm just like, lay off of Dorothy.
Yeah, there's so many jokes about how ugly she is. And like she gets given chocolates, and one of the dressers is like, you can't eat those, I need you to be skinny. It's like, right. Okay. Okay. But yeah, that's the way it is. So, I mean, I've never been told, like, in my like tiny stint in acting, I was never told overtly that I was ugly, but there was definitely like, no, you can't play that role. Oh. So I'm sure like 40 years before my stint, they would have just been more honest and been like, honey, no, your face. Nobody wants to look at it. So,
Do you think that the previous generation was just more honest about things? They would just be like, no, you're ugly. And other things, not only in acting, but in general?
Oh, totally.
And we've just learned to bend and pretend.
I mean, even just like from country to country, and Eastern versus Western too. Europeans in general, I find, are also much more honest when it comes to that sort of thing. And it doesn't, like, if you say something similar to them, it doesn't hurt their feelings. They're just like, yes, that is a fact. I experience this with my girlfriend quite often. She'll be like, your forehead is very big. And I'm like, oh, go fuck yourself. She's like, oh, that's not an insult. I was like, okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe it's just like, since this is an American movie too, there's a little bit of the fact that Canadians are known for apologizing and being so polite, But these people are just assholes on the regular in the 80s anyways.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like most of the stuff that I can say about the script is like, fuck you for saying this and for doing what you did. And so I don't want to like keep harping on that. So there was one part where it was planted that Julie just wants a man to like skip all the games and come up to her and be like, this is how I feel about you. Can I take you to bed? And she tells this to Dorothy. And so Michael, as Michael, sees her at a party and is like, hey, this is how I feel about you. Can I take you to bed? And then she hurls her drink in his face. Very funny. Love this storyline. I saw it in season 6 of The L Word, and I thought, oh, amazing. This is a great story. And I was just so sad to find out that it was already done verbatim. Like verbatim.
Well, that was more of the What
movie.
Woman Wants thing too, right?
I think I'm just sad that this like has inspired people. That this script has inspired other stories over the years. People are emulating it.
Yeah. I mean, there were some good lines.
For sure. And then there was also some like racism and hate crime. Like when Michael has dark makeup on and his hair is slicked back. And then he goes to an audition and he puts on an accent, awful. And then at the end of it, the casting person says, you know what? We're looking for someone less ethnic. I was like, oh my God. Fucking brutal. I don't want to see that. I hope that scene is not in it. I don't know how you justify, I just don't know how you justify that at all. It like blows my mind that anyone could be like, yeah, I'm gonna like go in blackface and put on an accent. I mean, I guess like they were still doing that up until fucking Tropic Thunder. So it's only recently that it's been like widely accepted not to do it. That also blows my mind as well. But yeah, I'm just very much not looking forward to that scene. That's probably the scene I'm looking forward to the least. Like, please don't show me that. Do you want to talk about what scenes we are looking forward to? Maybe as a positive spin.
Well, before, I just want to say that beginning, like you were saying how people don't say what's, wouldn't necessarily say the negative.
Yeah.
The way they did. I feel like that whole, or like a lot of the things that happened in the beginning, I like the beginning run through of how, like, you get a quick show of the rise and fall of Michael's career and life because of his marriage and then divorce. I liked that you saw him go through all these different roles, trying to get these different roles, and definitely problematic, like you were saying. But I've never auditioned, but I don't know if they tell you. I don't think they tell you why they're not going to accept you in audition.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah,
no, they just say thank you, bye.
Exactly. And so just you had like over and over again them being like, you're too short, you're too ethnic, you're too this or that. And then like I'm just like, I'm not sure if that actually happened, but maybe it did back then.
Yeah, suspension of disbelief probably in that moment. They just had to. They would have been too long to have his agent call him and be like, they said you were too ethnic. You know, all these like intercuts. Yeah. So what are you looking forward to?
Looking forward to just lines. Like, I guess I read the lines in the script, so maybe not so much. I think I'm looking forward to his relationship with his roommate, because that seems to be the only positive relationship in the movie. And then there's the storyline where one of the actors acts with or starts to fall in love with Dorothy and comes over to the apartment, and then the roommate comes back.
Yes.
And everything's discovered, and he runs off, and he thinks like, oh, he's in a relationship with the roommate, or Dorothy is in a relationship with her roommate. And then when he discovers that Michael isn't, that Dorothy is a man, I did think it was funny when the actor is so oblivious that he can just ask, does Jeff know? Does the roommate know?
Yeah.
I like that was his go-to. He's like, he's not shocked about anything. He's just like, does Jeff know?
Does Jeff know that you're a man?
Yeah, exactly. So maybe, I think I'm just looking forward to the relationship between Michael and Jeff, the roommate.
Do you know, like, after I read the script, I was like just looking for some background on the movie, and I didn't want to, but I saw who plays Jeff. Do you know who it is?
No, I don't. It must be somebody famous then.
It is somebody famous.
Who is it?
It's Bill Murray.
Oh, Get Out. Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I did not even picture Bill Murray in this film.
No, not at all.
Wow. Okay. Well, cool. I guess I have another reason to look forward to that then.
Yeah.
Because Jeff is such like he didn't seem like a comedic role to me.
No. There was a note that he mostly ad-libbed his lines, so that'll be some fun.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, that'll be a good difference. Because Jeff didn't have much of a presence. Yeah. What are you looking forward to?
I mean, I guess that relationship as well. Because, like, really, honestly, I would say nothing. But Bill Murray. I'm looking forward to Bill Murray. Had I not known about Bill Murray? Ooh, I don't know. I'm looking forward to the possibility of laughing because I don't think it's going to happen. How about that? Oh, gosh. Okay, don't be so negative. This is great.
Is this film the origin of the line, "I said good day"?
Right, because it's maybe.
Yeah, like it's at least in How I Met Your Mother. I'm pretty sure I've seen it in other things. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that it came from this. So that's fun because it's it's the audition role, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's for a fake TV show. Yeah, it must have been for this film. So that's fun. We can talk positively about the script, right? Not the writing.
Yeah.
But like in the script, I thought it was smart to just always refer to Michael and Dorothy as separate characters. So whenever, you didn't have like Dorothy brackets Michael or anything like that. It's as soon as Dorothy became a character, it's always just like Dorothy, Michael as the not slug lines, but the character.
Totally. I have another good one. So one of the character descriptions I thought was fantastic. It was so short, but it gave me so much. It was for Graham. And they said, Graham is the picture of three-piece suit respectability. And I was like, okay, I know who Graham is. Thank you.
Did they have a description for Dorothy?
I don't think so. I think they just, because you're with Michael as he's doing the transformation, there's no like need. You know, you're like, know that he chooses like this auburn curly wig versus a blonde one because that would be too blah, you know, like whatever.
Right. One funny thing about the script too was the Amy and Andrew. So they kept switching the gender of the baby, and they would actually insert like full pages, like redo the exact same scene sometimes in this version of the script for a female baby and a male baby.
Yeah.
In a way, this Tootsie is a gender bending role, and so that was funny that the baby also kind of like gender bends between the two.
Yeah.
So those are the positive things I have to say about the script.
Brilliant. We don't really talk about Les and Dorothy's storyline at all. So Dorothy likes his co-star Julie, and Julie invites him to to a cottage kind of weekend with her father. And her father starts liking Dorothy. And they get close. And then eventually he proposes to Dorothy, which is like so squeamish. Also not looking forward to that scene. Yeah. But I was feeling really bad for Les. Like for that whole time, I was like, fuck, man, you're getting duped so hard. And like, it's like watching The Office, you know, like it just makes me feel really awkward. But then Les said, sometimes I think women want to be entitled to be men. And I was like, you know what, Les? I don't think that's for you anymore. You deserve it.
Yeah, he lost you, eh?
He lost me. I hope that he's tender on screen and that he doesn't say that line. And that if he does say that line, that Dorothy slaps him.
Yeah, maybe she will. I don't think she will. She won't. I mean, none of the male roles in this film, except for maybe the agent.
Greg.
Yeah, and then Jeff. Jeff and Greg are probably the only positive male roles in this film.
Yeah.
Positive in that they're not assholes.
Oh, sorry. George.
Greg is an asshole. George is cool. No, now we've made up Greg, so Greg's going to be in this now.
Greg's going to turn this movie around. And
is he?
Just going to be, he's just going to come in there and be, you know, he's just going to let women speak for themselves the whole movie. instead of having the men speak for them. And then he's going to kill Dorothy.
He's going to what? Like Dorothy / Michael, or he's going to...
I don't know. I didn't have funny to end on, so I just went Deus Ex Machina, dead.
That's a big moment, Beck. That's a weird prediction. I'm going to predict the film is a lot like the script.
I think so too. I'm scared.
That's the scariest thing of all, not the potential murder that you made up.
Yeah, exactly. Or that this has been quoted as being unquestionably one of the greatest comedies in the last 50 years. So,
oh, really? Who
yes,
said that?
In the last 50 years, as in like before 1982 when this movie came out. Dabney Coleman said that.
I don't know who Dabney Coleman is.
An American actor who you will probably recognize from stuff like You've Got Mail.
Okay, cool. That's one check mark.
Brilliant. Okay, let's go watch this like romp of a film.
Yeah.
Yay.
Okay, Beck, for this mid-episode break, we're going to do something a little different. Normally, we've been answering questions. This week, we're just going to talk about an experience that we had that I think we both very much enjoyed. The first time we ever went to Comic-Con in San Diego back in 2009.
Yes, 2009. 2009, when going to Comic-Con was only $75 for a 4-day pass. Plus preview night.
All 4 days and the preview night. That's so crazy.
So crazy that like we were just kind of randomly talking about it and then decided to go online to see if there were still tickets available, and there were. And so we just bought them. Like, it was so on a whim, but now you have to like get in a queue and hope to get it, and they sell out within like 5 minutes. It's crazy how even the next year, even 2010, it got so much more popular.
Yeah.
To be like almost impossible to go if you hadn't already gone before.
Yeah, it happened so fast, and it makes sense because this was when the Marvel movies were taking off, and I think people were just realizing how much of a marketing tool Comic-Con really was becoming. It's just unfortunate because it was such a fantastic experience for me the first time I went. The lineups weren't long, and even if there was a long lineup, you were almost guaranteed to be able to get into anywhere you wanted to. I just remember going to all these different panels, listening to these actors, directors, writers, everyone talking about these things that they love, and the experience that they had. It really felt like you connected with these things more. I wanted into a panel for the second Uncharted game, Uncharted 2. I had never even heard of this game. And I go on, like I listened to these guys talking about it, and it was just like, it sounded like such an amazing game. I went and played it. Obviously, I didn't need that panel to learn that Uncharted was an amazing series, but went on to love that series.
Yeah. I went like not being really into comics, but just, yeah, kind of supporting your fandom and then also being excited about the movies and that sort of stuff that I was going to get to see. And then it just like the whole experience just brought me in. I'm not a comic book collector or anything like that, but I very much am more entrenched into superheroes and that sort of thing, and also into cosplay, which I would have never found out about if it wasn't for going to Comic-Con that first year.
Oh my God, the costumes, so many people are just decked out in these great costumes.
They're crazy. There's that guy, I don't think he was there in 2009. I can't even remember who the blowaway ones from 2009 were, but I've been 7 years in the last 11 years. So I just remember like really some standout characters. Or 6 years? Whatever. I've been a bunch of times. And one of them was this guy who was like, he was on a horse, but it was just him, but he was a character from Game of Thrones. Like, it was so crazy, and the horse looked real and everything moved. He took up a lot of space, but it was just so, like, I was blown away. And then there was a Bumblebee Transformer who actually turns into a car. Like, people are doing crazy stuff.
Pretty cool, eh?
Yeah, all of these like Iron Man costumes where everything actually moves, like gadgets come out of the arms, the helmet goes up, like just nuts things that you're like, holy shit, that's either like so incredibly heavy or you're so hot in there. And that also took you so much money and so much time.
Yeah.
So much time. The most intricate one that I have made is a Xena costume, and that took me a long time, and I had to learn to do things to do that. So like the people who are actually making these full-on suits that are like pretty much indestructible, like those Iron Man suits, are that armor is very, very tough.
I know you started working on, I think was it a Valkyrie costume?
No, no,
Was it
I've
a
never made a Valkyrie.
Thorish costume then?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I have a Thor helmet. I made a
Okay,
Thor.
yeah, Thor helmet. I thought you were doing like a Valkyrie one. That's why I thought that the Thor helmet was for Valkyrie. Let me ask you this back. Are you considering trying to do a Golden Armor Wonder Woman costume?
I I looked at it. I've looked it up a few times, and then I looked to see like how much they are just made because people
Yeah.
are already selling them. And just after seeing both of those things, I was like, okay, so this is how much somebody would is asking for it. It's like around $1,000. And that kind of gives me an idea of how much time and how much money I would be putting into it. And I was just like, I can't. I can't do it.
It would
It's
be a
too
lot.
much. Especially if I'm not going to Comic-Con again.
Sure.
It would be, yeah, doing it here at Fan Expo in Toronto would, I don't know. It would be cool, but it would just not be the same.
Cost
Yeah.
more than our first time going to Comic Con to go to Toronto Fan Expo, and there would not be the same experience. It would just be basically a glorified mall.
Yeah, like a sales floor. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
And the
autograph.
sales floor in San Diego. Whoa. Beautiful.
It's huge. It's
So big. So big. Like you go there and I'm like, you can find things here that you can't find anywhere else. In Toronto, and now it's turning into a shit fest on
Fan Expo.
yeah, yeah. But in Toronto, you're basically going, oh, I can just go around Toronto and find these things anyway. It was
Yeah,
just
like
all the
EB
local
Games has
stores.
a booth, like freaking HMV had a booth when it was open, like just a whole bunch of stores that you could go to anytime. They were just at this thing. And you're like, why am I spending so much money to get into this mall when I could just go to the mall?
Yeah. In Comic Con, I went to a panel that was the. I think you were there too. We went to the season 6 musical episode for Buffy, and it
Oh,
was like a giant crowd. It was in Hall H, I think,
yeah.
which is the second biggest place.
Yeah, once more with feeling.
Yeah, once more with feeling, and like people were just so excited. A giant crowd. Everyone was singing along. It was just fantastic to see that.
Yes, and Nicholas Brendan came out at the beginning, and he was like,
Mhm.
I was like, I just heard that you guys were doing this, and I was like so excited. So I asked if I could come out here, and he does one of his songs, the one that's like, "Wicked good, and I'll be over here," like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Thing.
yeah. Did you do the Snoopy dance too? Did you?
No,
No,
I think he
okay.
just did the one. Yeah, he just did that one really fast part, and I think he actually messed up, but it was still exciting.
Yeah, it's been so long. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's the thing. Like it felt my first time going to Comic Con, our first time. It felt like just like a lot of people just being there, having fun, and sharing something that they loved.
yeah.
Uh, I went a second time. You've gone a bunch, like you were saying, and it felt a little more hollow the second time around.
Yeah. For me, not the second time around. I think it was like the
Mm.
fourth time where I was like, okay, okay.
Yeah. But you had like you got to experience the changes year after year after year. I had like a 6 year gap or something between the
Right.
first time I went and the second time that I went. And so it felt so different, not only the cost, but just the experience, like what they were selling. It felt like a marketing exposition instead of like fan exposition.
Yeah. And one difference too I noticed is that for a lot of the bigger things, like all of the Marvel announcements and that sort of stuff, it
Mm.
ended up just being like, so you would wait in line. At this point, you had to wait overnight to get into Hall H. You'd wait overnight, like sleep there, and then go inside this Hall H, and there would be these huge announcements from Sony, from Marvel, from everyone. But those big things, it tended to just be like, hey, guess what? Like, we're going to be doing a show about this character. Everybody's excited. And we have the actor here. The actor comes out on stage, they wave, and then they leave the stage. And you're like, wait, like the first year that we were there was like intimate interviews with everybody. It wasn't just a hi, I'm going to go on stage, I'm going to wave at you, and then I'm going to leave, which is, yeah, a lot of what it came to be at the ending. I know you don't have all the time in the world to interview everybody that you're announcing, but it did just feel like you said, a little bit more markety, and that here's the photo op. You're in the same room as this person, take the photo, but they're not going to talk to you. I will say, like, my favorite part from the beginning, and it has continued to be my favorite part the entire time, is Kevin Smith's like lectures. Not I don't know. They're just like Q&As. He basically tells you like a quick story, and then he's like, I'm gonna open it up to questions right away, and then he just kind of goes off on tangents. But yeah, those have always been the most fun, the most intimate, and also the most motivating for me. After every time I left Hall H after one of those talks, I felt like I needed to go out and create something right away. And I felt like I could.
Very nice. Yeah, that's what you want from those kind of things. Yeah. And Kevin Smith, like just from the beginning, from when I say the beginning, I mean like An Evening with Kevin Smith, those DVDs, always a great talker and great open person. Yeah. But here, I think we could probably end up doing like an episode or a few episodes just on Comic-Con.
For sure.
Let's cut it off now and let's get back to the show.
Sounds good. Welcome to the second portion of the podcast where we talk about the movie. We have just watched Tootsie. John, what did you think about the movie?
I was unimpressed with the film. It was basically the script, though. That was part of the issue. It was the script right onto the film. I didn't find many changes, just like subtle ones, a line here, an action there. And I think just in watching it after having read the script, it just emphasized that there was something missing from the film that I wanted, some kind of meaning, some kind of purpose. I wanted some heart from Michael. I wanted some actual emotional like change in some way. He apologizes at the end. I'm sorry, I'm going in deep into this. He apologizes at the end, but it really feels like he didn't lose in any way. He just acted like an ass and got everything he wanted, and happily ever after for him.
I fully agree with you. When he gets mad at Ron for the way that he treats Julie, that was an opportunity for growth for him. So he's learned a lesson, and now he can take that lesson and go back to Sandy and be like, I've been mistreating you, before she even finds out that he is Dorothy. Like, he could have done that, and that would have been hard. That would have been an emotional journey that he went on. He would have grown, but he stays exactly the fucking same, just a misogynist, and he gets the woman that he wants through deceit. It's like the worst. Mm-hmm. So that's like a story thing that I very much agree with you. I didn't like. In terms of the movie, I kind of liked it.
Good.
Yeah, I thought it was fun, and I thought I was like braced for a lot more misogyny based off of what I read on the page than there was in the film. Like, it was still awful to have like a man tell you how to be a woman, like that I didn't love. But through the performances of the female characters around him and their reactions to him and some of the stuff that the other male characters said, I saw that there was like a little bit more defense for women on screen than there was on the page. And I really like that.
A lot more defensive women. Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what line it was, but Ron gave Julie a redirect on a shooting day, and just her face at the note, like what he said was kind of gross, and her face, like her reaction to it was just like, you're an asshole. And I was like, yay, because that wasn't written on the page. You don't see like, oh, she's disgusted by this terrible thing that he just said to her. It just kind of goes on. And yeah, so I enjoyed the little moments where they were able to bring stuff like that into it. The actors themselves.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's definitely fair. I think I more enjoyed just seeing different people. Like, even though Bill Murray's part didn't seem, it wasn't big, and I don't think it would have been any different had anyone else played it. It was fun to see Bill Murray. It was fun to see Geena Davis.
Yes.
Yes. When I was younger, I had a crush on Geena Davis because she's beautiful, and it was fun to see her in her first film.
That's her first film?
That's her first film.
Okay. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, she's definitely gorgeous. And I feel like maybe you'd be, that Geena Davis, you'd be close to your age, probably. If maybe she's in her, I would say she's in her early 30s. Maybe she's in her late 20s. But yeah, you talked about Bill Murray's performance in that it kind of wouldn't have been different if any other actor had played it. I fully agree with you. Like, I was so excited when I found out it was Bill Murray, and I know when I told you that, you were pretty excited as well, and you're just waiting for all those like Bill Murray isms, and there weren't any.
Yeah, it's like he did the lines on the script, and that was it.
Yeah, but I had read, and I think I said this on the podcast last time, that there was a lot of improvisation on his part, and I was like, was it just of like where he walked in the scene? Because in terms of the words, he didn't really stray from them very much.
No, exactly. There's no, yeah, it wasn't even that goofy.
No,
Yeah.
you want him to be goofy. You want him to be goofy so bad, but maybe he had to be the grounded character for Michael's like insanity.
Yes. Michael's insanity. It's just, yeah, honestly, I'm having a little bit of trouble coming with thoughts to talk about this script, even though I have some notes here, just because it was just so much just the script. The film was the script. And I like, yeah, I guess there was more heart, like you were saying. Like I felt more for the film than I did for the script, because you actually got to see the characters play those emotional beats.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wish.
It very much was the script, but do you know what they left out?
What did they leave out?
At the very beginning, when Michael's going through all those different auditions, and they're like, "Oh, you're too short, you're too tall, you're too old, you're too young," all of that sort of stuff. They took out him in blackface, and thank God, I was so worried that was going to happen, and no, it did not end up in the film. Thank fuck.
I think maybe they were smart enough even back then.
Yeah. Or maybe it's in the original, and just since they've been like, maybe let's just edit that out of the movie.
Yeah, do a little director's cut.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, that was good. Everything just seems to highlight for me again that he didn't need to do this. He didn't need to. I guess it was just convenient that this part was there and he could take this part. But he could have dressed up as anyone and done the exact same thing. It was just his attitude that needed to change.
Yeah.
So there was no justification for it in my mind, but
yeah, his attitude needed to change.
I think his attitude needed to change. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, like, not for any greater purpose other than like you're kind of a sleazeball and you don't get much work, so maybe your attitude should change. It wasn't like for the betterment. It's not like he has a son and he's being a shitty father, and so he needs to change for somebody else. It was just like, you're kind of a shitty person and you need to change a little bit. And just because there was no like greater thing, I think that's why he didn't really fully learn his lesson. He just got what he wanted.
Yeah. I know I'm being the negative voice on this, and there were definitely parts that I enjoyed about it, but it's easier to remember the negative. So one thing that annoyed me about the film was something that you mentioned after you watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, right? It's painful just to see an actor struggle, and like just to listen to that. It's just I found it just annoying to listen to Michael talk about the craft of acting, like this high, like God-given path for his life. It was so important. I get that in some ways you should have that kind of passion, but it's just like, get over your fucking self and just do the work that you're supposed to be doing. Maybe you'll actually have a good life.
Yeah, fully.
It's annoying to listen to that just in general, I think.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things. Nobody wants to. I mean, but people do. A lot of people saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and a lot of people have liked this movie over the decades. But yeah, it's just personally, and I don't think I'm alone in this camp, it's just boring to watch a movie about an actor's struggles. Just like I feel like it would be kind of boring to read a book about a writer's struggles.
You know what? It's true. The thing, I think, for films and for books, writers love to like make stories about writers and their struggles. And I guess it's they take the maxim, write what you know, a little too seriously sometimes. And just like, no one cares about writers, buddy. No one wants to hear another story about how hard it is to be a writer.
Totally.
Unless you're Aaron Sorkin, then you can write about writers all you want.
Did he write about writers?
I mean, he likes to have writers in his thing. Like The West Wing. Originally, The West Wing was going to center around Sam Seaborn, who was a writer.
The speechwriter?
Yes.
Ah.
And Sports Night, like they were announcers, but they were writers as well. Like they wrote their segments and stuff. Like he likes writers.
Right. And the newsroom, they're all writers as well.
For sure.
That makes sense. You had said that you were most excited for Bill Murray's performance, and we have pretty much already talked about it. It was lackluster. In its place, is there something that surprised you in a good way?
Surprised me in a good way. I mean, not exceptionally, but I think I liked his agent. I think I liked his
Yes,
agent. Yeah.
Greg.
Yeah. And
Greg
who
was
was he played by?
Sidney Pollack.
Yeah, and he's a famous actor, right? So not surprised.
And he's a director, and he was the director of this movie. So yeah, he put himself in it and did a great job. I find like you probably don't see that too often, because how do you really do two things at once? Like when you're acting opposite somebody else, you're watching their performance and you're noting in your head all the redirections that you need to give them for the next take. So how are you in your character?
I don't know, man. Maybe you have to get like a third party to kind of like direct or look out for things specifically while you're doing that.
Maybe we actually do need a movie about this. We need a movie about how hard it is to be an actor-director.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's not about being a writer.
There you go.
I'm okay with that.
For me, the thing that surprised me the most was the performance, definitely of Greg, but also of Charles Durning, who played Les. I really enjoyed everything he did on screen. There wasn't a lot for him on the page, but I thought every scene that he was in, he lit up the screen. And my favorite part for him was in the scene at the end where Michael comes to the bar that he's at, and they're making up. Michael's kind of apologizing to him, and he slowly has the realization that it's Michael beside him and not a stranger. And his face, it takes so long. I feel like it takes about like 30 seconds or something for his head to like millimeter by millimeter turn towards Michael, and you see him go from like enjoyment to like pissed off so slowly. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I feel like a director, obviously he didn't, but I feel like Sidney would have probably done another take of that and been like, can we do it faster? And then in the edit, they were like, nope, that was brilliant. Genius. Keep the slow one.
Nice. Yeah, maybe. That's really cool. I think in a similar vein, I enjoyed I don't remember his name, but he played the womanizer on the actual soap opera.
Yes.
Yeah. I think he had a certain role. He had to fill a certain role, and he hammed it up a lot. I like that.
Absolutely. That actor is George Gaines.
Gotcha.
We talked about Sandy in the script portion, and about her character was just like kind of shit on the whole time, and how Michael was terrible for treating her that way. Did you feel any differently about her part in the film, seeing it?
No. I didn't like her character in general. Like, it seemed like she was a bit of a sad sack character.
Yeah.
It's like, wah, wah, everything bad happens to me. Yeah, and so I didn't necessarily like her character, but I also didn't like the way she was treated. Like, that didn't change. So
no, it didn't change. But I did like her introduction more in the film. Like, I liked the speech that she was giving, and I liked her personality, and I found her like social awkwardness endearing, and she was cute, and I was like, oh, you're somebody that I would want to talk to at a party. And so yeah, I liked her a lot more off the top. And then because she just kept getting stumped by him over and over and over, I was like, oh girl, fucking leave.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so that was hard. But I mean, it makes sense. I didn't catch this in the script, but on film I saw that they had said that he is her acting coach. So for you to like fall for your acting coach does not seem like way off base. And then to like they have the power in the room, and now in the relationship they're going to maintain that power as well. It just seemed like an abusive power on his part.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, it was a bad idea all around. I don't understand his motivation, to be honest. I guess he just wants to sleep around because there's no other motivation, right? There's no reason why he needed to string her along. You're
right. Like the first time they sleep together, it's because she walks in on him naked when he's about to try on her dress. Which, yes. Okay, that you are in a weird position right there. But there are a billion other things you could have said. You didn't have to just be like, I want you and fuck her.
Yeah.
We've kind of gone through all the lead characters in the film in terms of who played them, but we didn't talk about Julie. Did you recognize this actress?
I did not recognize her.
It's Jessica Lange. Does that
Jessica
name
Lange.
sound? Yeah. Does it sound familiar?
The name sounds familiar, but I don't know what else she's been in.
So she was in American Horror Story. She's been in like every season of that. Did you watch that?
Oh, yes. So I would recognize her as a bit older then.
Yes, exactly. I had never seen her this young
No,
either.
she's like. Do you think she's in her 20s in this, or?
She must be.
Okay, well, fantastic. I mean, I had no problems with her. She did what she needed to do in the film.
Yeah, I really liked her. Not more than like I liked Sandy more than her. I liked that actress more than.
She was just more dynamic, she had more of a personality, right? A character.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jessica Lange probably didn't have very much to work with in the film. Like it's just like you are the love interest. You have to get annoyed. You have to have some minor problem, like she has a child. She's working. She's dealing with the misogyny of this job and trying to find love as well. But yeah, like it's very limited.
Yeah.
I did want to bring up one thing that was different from the script.
Yes.
It wasn't really different. It's that they settled on a baby gender and character. They went with female Amy. I don't know how that would have been different from male, I think Adam or something.
Yeah.
So, but great. So that worked out. I think it would have worked out either way, but it worked out.
Yeah, totally. I also want to bring up something. The part that I hated the most, even though I've already praised Charles Durning for his portrayal of Les, when we first kind of get to know him at the cottage, and there's this like long montage of the three of them doing different things around the cottage, and you see like Michael as Dorothy like slowly falling in love with Julie because he just keeps watching her do these things like ride a fucking horse. I thought that montage was just the worst. It was like way too over the top, way too campy, and then the music that was playing, the line that they kept saying over and over was "Something's telling me it might be you all of my life." And I was like, we get it. Like you only needed one scene of him like looking at her and then just having like a little bit of a like, oh, and that's it. We didn't need this like entire song montage that was just like totally cheese.
Wait, Beck. Are you telling me that there was a love plot between Les and Dorothy? I had no idea. I thought the marriage proposal was purely financial.
Yeah.
We didn't need all that.
You know who I thought really stole the show, though? The character, when Michael's cake is brought out, and there's like 4 people holding this cake, there's one woman who's like the main focus in this shot, and she's just like the same height as the cake, essentially, and she's got these huge like horn rim glasses. I couldn't stop staring at her. Anytime she was in like on screen in that apartment scene, I was just like, I want to know what your story is. Fuck Michael. Let's just follow this woman.
I don't know, Beck. Maybe she's a that times kind of hipster.
Yeah, maybe.
And you're just like, another horn-rimmed glasses girl. Come on,
But
get over yourself.
One of the first, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't notice her.
Oh.
So she was less prominent in my viewing.
Yeah.
It sounds like she really had an impact on you. I hope you can follow up and find out who played that character. And she was in many things. Maybe she's the next Jessica Lange.
Maybe.
Yeah, we just don't know it.
Maybe. I feel like in the credits she would be like, woman with glasses.
Probably.
It would be really hard to find her.
Or extra one, right?
Yeah. Party goer 1. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that's mostly all I have to say about the film adaptation of the script Tootsie. So unless you have anything else.
I've got nothing else.
Okay.
Except to say, if you're thinking about watching Tootsie, go watch Mrs. Doubtfire. It has more heart and more direction and more purpose. Yeah. And it has Robin Williams.
Yeah. So it's just like better in every single way.
100%.
Okay. So in terms of Tootsie,
the
script of the movie, which did you like better?
I think just because they were almost the same thing, and just because there was more character and that there was more Geena Davis, I'm going to say the film.
Yeah, I'm going to say the film as well. And I'm going to say that because there was no blackface. The women's jackets were nice. There was a lot of humor in it that I didn't find on the page. And then also just Les and Greg were so amazing and way better than Dustin Hoffman.
For sure.
So, John, what are we doing on the next episode of The Script is Better?
Beck, I think we've been talking a bit too much in all of our episodes of the podcast. So let's get let's use our eyes a bit more and let's read, then watch The Artist.
Amazing. I don't know if that's going to change the length of our podcast and how much we talk in the podcast, but yes, I'm excited to watch a film that is almost entirely silent.
Yeah. I'm not sure about the science behind it either, Beck, but we'll see.
Very cool.
Yeah, awesome. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. We're done. See you next time.